Oh, okay.
I don't see the table.
That's alive.
All right.
Problem is, they don't put enough down the first time. So
Oh,
they
where's
round
Dave?
the same amount down the second.
I don't think Al's gonna be here this
So
month.
250
No, he's away.
pounds
Yeah,
from the lean.
but Dave should be.
250 is 500.
Feels away again.
350 down the first time, don't
We'll
come
wait
back.
another 30 seconds for Dave.
They're on a trip.
Oh, another 150 pounds.
The Winnebago or whatever.
Plus,
I think so. They went out west to some concert or something.
Really? Nice. How's the golf cart?
Rotten.
Really?
Yeah.
Tuesday nights, we've only had,
displays.
well, one good night on the course.
Oh, weather-wise.
We've had to go up and
Right,
make
so
it
we have
up.
somebody speaking.
What a mess.
Has Sue been out? Right?
So I still got some games open for her, so.
I opened up the compartment and all the extinguisher lines and everything were over. Where the heck did I look in there?
Oh dear,
Didn't turn any lights on.
terrible year.
Ready to start?
Might straighten up now.
Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Preble Town Board meeting of June 12th, 2017. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes from May 8th, regular meeting, or May 24th, special meeting?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the May 8th meeting and the May 24th meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Jane?
Dog control, one dog adopted and she traveled 90 miles for the town. Justice report, $28,592 submitted to the town for May.
Thanks, Jane. Highway report, Jeff?
Everybody's got a copy. The rain wind event that hit pretty much Preble and Tully back on the 18th. It took us about 5 days to get everything cleaned up. It was Monday afternoon before we got Vermont Road cleaned up. It looked like a minefield up there. That slowed us down a little bit. New shop, Paul's gonna set the schedule, get with you next day or so probably for a signing the contracts.
Mhm.
And the well down there, if you look, we did a 5-foot extension on it to bring it above what's gonna be the new grade. He pumped it for probably 2.5 hours. Came out of there pretty sludgy at first. The pump that was in the well, he fired it after 45 plus years of sitting in there. It actually fired. And then 20 minutes later, it died, which is no surprise. It was pumping some pretty bad stuff. So yeah, I'll call it cloudy right now, but it'll just need some more running and it should be fine. Back down through town cleanup, we got the bill from the county. It's 66.8 tons to be hauled. And of course, the first 30 ton is amnesty from the county, so we're paying for 36.8. I talked to Suco about paving out back here, and their pavers are all 10 foot and bigger, and it's between the tower and the post office boxes and like that. It'd be super tight paver to have a hard enough time, much less getting the truck backed up to it. He recommended getting more like a driveway paver, somebody with a smaller paver that could get in there with smaller trucks and things. So I put together a description of it, and I'm going to get it to some local pavers and get some numbers.
Okay.
The other thing is highway schools today, tomorrow, and half of Wednesday. And it's interesting year to year how things change. A few years ago, the DEC said, don't worry about the salt regulations. We're kind of going lax on that, and all of a sudden it's a big deal to take care of the salt storage. And our frustration is we're leaning more toward the application, making sure it's done properly, because that's putting it out in the weather, which makes brine. Your storage, and we're well within compliance, but we are one of the listed aquifers, sole source aquifers, obviously. Preble was on the map, the Homer Court and Preble Aquifer, along with, I think, 8 or 9 others statewide. So we're well within compliance with what we have.
Mhm.
Any questions?
Where is highway school this year?
Ithaca College.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
every year. It's Cornell Highway School. Cornell puts it on, but it's held at Ithaca College.
Relatively local.
Yeah, I just commute. A lot of guys, come in and stay for the week,
Mhm.
for 3 days.
Right.
Commute over.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
If I can ask a question,
Yeah,
just on the salt. I'm trying to think back when it was built. Did we do anything special as far as it relates to seepage into the ground or anything, Jeff?
Well, we put blacktop, it's got 2 layers of hot mix blacktop is what they're requiring. It's just an impermeable surface. And of course, it'd never been stored there before, being a new site. So, and then the sidewalls, we went above and beyond. And the concrete sidewall, which goes up 8 feet,
Mm-hmm.
we've actually sprayed that with oil. It's what we use for crack filling in the roads, like making tar. And so that, even keeps it from getting into the concrete like that.
So we exceed whatever specs they have now.
Yeah, we're in good shape, and they call it it's proposed law. The meeting we had with DEC, they came right out of Albany, and the 4 people that were there, one is a grant writer, so she's trying to they've come up with $25 million worth of funding over 5 years, $5 million a year. And so she's trying to quantify who needs the grants and like that. That's part of the reason she was talking to our state committee. And another one was asking, okay, it's anything over 100 ton a year usage. And we use 200 to 250. So we're just over that, minimum threshold. So that was another gentleman was talking about that. And another gentleman talked about actual contamination and had a little presentation on, places that have had to, bring in municipal water because of high salt content and like that. But, no, we're ahead of the game. The 100 and I want to guess $126,000 or $28,000 we spent 9 years ago would be $250,000 today probably. So it's plus and that's just the building cost. We've saved easily 10 or 15% a year for the last 9 years, just because we're not. Our product is ready to be put down. It's granule. It's nice and even. Where before, heck, we'd have lumps and chunks. And, it wouldn't spread nice and even, so it wasn't doing as good a job. So, that answer your question?
Yep. That's,
Thanks,
To
Jeff.
get off the subject a little bit, I see on one of the bills here that with the hearing test.
Yeah.
Now, is that, I know at PNC because we were on the heavy equipment and the motors running constantly, is that so they can see how much hearing they lose
It's a
through a
baseline.
career?
Everybody gets a baseline test, and it's done in a actual soundproof booth, a couple steps above the old,
Right,
like
yeah.
you had in grade school. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's a baseline. And then the PESH was in, and they took any equipment that, was objectionable
Yep.
loud, our roadside mower, the grader, because it's just a element cab, like a weather cab. It's not a soundproof cab. And the wood chipper, and they put a dose meter on us for 4 hours, and then it's time weighted. And those 3 all were above minimums.
Right,
No, man.
chainsaw, obviously.
Yeah, anything
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But the something you would run constant for more than 4 hours is what you're looking at. So, and we've always worn the hearing protection, so we never had a baseline. So that gives us, number one, the baseline and the decibels that machine puts out. So the recommended hearing protection, whether it's, double with earplug and the decent, you can buy some pretty crappy hearing protection. Looks nice, but it isn't any good. But they're different levels. So we know which ones we have to use with each piece now.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yes.
Okay, recreation, Renee, you have anything for us?
Yeah, the calendar's going well, waiting for, some coordination between, requests and deposits, but we're working on that. The sink faucet down in the park, broke. Hank got that fixed. You should see a bill in amongst the pile there. Met with Rick Fritz, after he met with Jeff and just kind of discussed what needs to be done at the pavilion. Waiting on a write-up from one of the other, bids on that, and then I'll bring that back to the table next month. The park looks good otherwise with all the maintenance being done down there. Our program is completed. You can see that I gave everybody a copy of it. We're also going to Tully Library 3 times this summer, so we included their program as well with that. Busing is all set. Tully will be doing the transportation for that. Lunches, the Catholic Charities out of Portland's doing that. I have a meeting on the 26th with them to go over guidelines and requirements for that. There's a playground training for OSHA and PESH and all that in July. Supposed to be in Lafayette. I haven't gotten a date from that yet. And the person that's interested in taking the old playground said they're willing to donate between $50 and $200, which is more than what we would have gotten had we just thrown it out on Amnesty Day. And they're willing to help tear it down if that's okay with the board. At this point, they're not sure what they can donate at this point, but it would be somewhere in that range. They weren't able to give me a definite dollar figure at that point, but. And
What do you do on the bottle drive?
the bottle drive, I have it right here. I sat from 8 in the morning until noon down by the sign where it says bottle drive, and we raised $89.20 if I counted correctly. So Jane, I'm gonna hand that to you. It's put in the playground fund. So, and then we collected 5 more bags the other day. The bin is down on the corner of the fence and it's painted white for people to drop their cans and bottles off. And I've also put out that people can call me, and I've got a couple calls to coordinate with them. So that's going well so far. So.
Last meeting, Don and I talked about the playground equipment, about like getting some other participation involved with that, and or at least advertising or putting a notice on the board for that. And with all the things going on with me personally, I have not done anything like that, but we could do that before we make a decision if we think it's necessary.
Well, it's just one of those things, you know, how far do you take it? I mean,
Right.
you post something on the website and out here and
Yep.
hey, just,
I agree.
you know, entertain offers to purchase the playground. Please submit by such and such a date in writing to you or to Jane or whatever,
Or
And you-
Renee,
whichever.
Yeah.
And that way you've got, you know,
at least a notice. Yeah,
That's right. And
right,
people have had an opportunity.
right.
Um,
And, okay, that won't take long. We'll do that.
As is.
It'll be up, so by the end of, make a decision next month.
You can make a decision next month. Would that be okay?
No, I'm fine. with
Okay.
that.
I mean, because that one, the hand over hand needs to come out of there. I mean, the rest of it can hang in for a little bit, but
Renee, since you're more intimately aware of what's going on with this, could you just write something up, like a one-page announcement, and then we can post it here? And then if you could send it on to Sue Reynolds, she can post it on the internet, on the webpage. Okay, moving on, county legislator. Don Boyden is not here tonight, but he did call me about 6:15 tonight. And I almost think that the stress of his job is affecting his health a little bit, because he wasn't feeling very well. But what we talked about was he's getting very discouraged about the county's fiscal situation right now. He says the county is $37 million in debt for a total debt. And the new jail would add 40 plus million on top of that. And it would lower the bond rating of the county. And so both of us agreed that we probably can't afford a jail right now. Even though as much as we probably need a jail, we don't have the money for it. And he was also saying that, which was common knowledge too, he was saying that for many years, for decades, debt has been piled on to the landfill and other projects, and debt has been put forward into the future. And now all the chickens have come home to roost, and we're facing a situation with the county that the county doesn't have a whole lot of options, and it doesn't have a whole lot of money available anymore, and it really can't borrow anymore. So he's just beyond himself to try to figure out a solution to these problems, and there are no good solutions. He's saying that the recycling center loses $600,000 a year. I mean, I don't know if that number.
I thought it was more than that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what he
yeah.
said.
2
600,000 a
years
year,
ago. It was more,
and that's every year.
Yep.
So he says that most of the recycling material is going elsewhere. It's going to other places, and he's suggesting that we should just shut down the recycling center. If it's losing that much money, shut it down. And there's no sense in losing that kind of money every single year.
doing what? Sending it to the landfill? I mean,
That's one of his
is that the option?
suggestions.
Is that what he's saying?
Well, he's saying that some of the recycling material will just go elsewhere just because there's no center in Cortland. You know, there's Rock Cut Road, there's other places, and it'll find its way there, or it will find its way to the landfill.
right. People
yeah.
would have to take it themselves. So
So he's just saying there's no sense in losing that kind of money every single year. I agree with him. So the county legislature has a lot of really deep problems and to deal with, and there's no good solution. So he knows that he's going to upset a lot of people when he comes out and he announces this, that we can't do certain things and we have to shut certain projects down. But unfortunately, that's the way it is right now. So that's a summary of what he told me tonight at 6:15. I don't really have any more than that, and I don't think I can answer questions based on
right,
that.
yeah.
Because I'm just
Well,
repeating what he
yeah,
told me.
yeah.
Yeah. Jane?
Zoning and code, 8 building permits issued, 117 miles traveled for the town, 27 building inspections, 48 hours worked, 2 fire inspections, 6 complaint follow-ups, 33 telephone inquiries. The planning board meeting is June 28th at 7 o'clock. ZBA meeting, July 6th at 7:30.
Town historian Ann Henderson is not here. Jane?
We collected $660, dispersed $619.50 to the town of Preble, $18 to New York State Egg and Markets, and $22.50 to New York State Department of Health. Tax collector, everything's been settled with the county treasurer. The total warrant was $1,789,257.18, and there were 26 parcels returned unpaid, totaling $98,264.88.
Thanks, Jane. Unfinished business. The main project that we're talking about is the highway garage. So
Basically, back to what I said earlier, it's Paul's gonna
Yeah.
let you know when we need to have
Right.
those signatures.
okay.
I would say in the next few days.
Right.
I expect it,
So things are moving along on schedule. Yeah.
pretty much where we need to be.
And then the other item for unfinished business, the deed to the property that this town hall sits on. Don?
Yep, I talked to Mike Condon, is the attorney for the school district. I talked to him, I emailed back and forth, and he says, get him a deed and they'll, if it meets with their approval, they'll move it forward. And
Mhm.
so I got to do a deed.
Okay.
He said he wanted, it's kind of a little unorthodox, but he wants a copy of the old deed attached to the new deed. Kind of provide some reasoning why we're doing a new deed. So we'll put something together here in the next week or so.
Just so there's a paper
Get that
trail. If somebody looks at this 10 years from now, they
Right.
they can find out what happened.
That's right. So we should be in good shape on that.
Okay.
Should be able to clear it up here.
Okay, good. There's no new business as far as I know, unless anybody has something they want to bring up. Rick Fritz is going to be here next month in July, and he's going to talk to us about the possibility of solar and wind farms in Preble with big landowners, and what we can do as a board to, well, we'll have to discuss it first and see what we come up with. But, we can take some action if we want to nip it in the bud, or whatever we want to do.
Positive, negative.
Yeah, we'll go over the pros and the cons next month. So Rick will be here next month to discuss that. At this time, I'd like to open up the meeting for public comment. Does anybody have a question or a comment to the board?
You said you talked to, when talking to Don, he didn't mention anything about the county keeping the sales tax or anything like that, or the full portion.
He didn't tell me anything along those lines tonight.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Gonna do something like that, it'd be something nice to know ahead of budget time, which is
Mhm.
only a few months away.
Mm-hmm. John?
3, 4 things. The recycling center and the landfill would be profitable if we keep our product at home. We should have flow control. We're losing 50% of our product goes outside the county or more, 55%.
Don had talked about flow control other times in the past. He didn't talk about it tonight for whatever reason. I don't know why.
They should have done it when Supreme Court passed as a legal thing to do,
Mhm.
and we just couldn't get it done. Couldn't get enough votes to
Mhm.
process it and put it to life. That's what, if we had that one product here, it would pay more and pay for itself, make a profit.
Mhm. Mhm.
Secondly, sales tax. It's way down. Ski centers have had 2 winners. Bad skiing, the jets are gone,
Mhm.
price of gas is lower. You're
Yeah.
not getting the percentage of sales tax that we used to get here the past 2 or 3 years. And on solar panels, do not use flat ag land. Have them put it on a hill where they can't use it for anything else. We gotta keep the ag land in
Mhm.
process.
Mhm.
I see some houses that have had, and also college areas that use flat land.
Mhm.
And I know a couple farmers have been approached here already to, the companies want to buy the property or lease the property, put the solar panels on. I wouldn't recommend it.
Right.
Not on the flat land.
Right.
That's
Right.
usable.
And with solar panels, we're not even talking about residential. Residential is not an issue. It's
No.
only the commercial solar
Commercial,
and wind
correct.
farms that we're talking about.
And it takes up a lot of room.
Yes, it does.
That's my opinion.
Mhm. Thanks for your opinion. Dan?
I've been here a long time.
I just finished spending a week at the Finger Lakes Trail Conference, and they have a footpath that goes across New York State. And I know that someone approached the town about putting up signs for hiking in the town, and I haven't seen the signs, but they were road hikes. The Finger Lakes Trail makes it an effort to have the trail off the road.
Mhm.
They've made agreements with landowners, a lot of them handshake agreements. So the trails go through the woods. And I think there's been very few issues with hikers messing with people's property.
Mhm.
So I'm curious as to whatever happened to the proposal to put those signs up.
Well,
If anybody's amenable to,
is there a trail that runs through Preble?
not now,
No.
Okay.
but there was a proposal to make something along the
Okay.
river.
Well, yeah,
Which
that
could-
that was probably 7 or 8 years ago. There was a proposal, I think this was on the county
Yeah,
level
yeah.
and the state level maybe too, that there was going to be a trail that would go along the river here.
There is a trail in Highland Forest that is part of the Finger Lakes Trail. It
Okay.
actually connects via the North Country Trail. So it actually starts in Highland Forest.
Oh. Well, I know that there was some opposition to running that trail through Preble with certain landowners along the river. I think Pete was one of the ones in opposition. on that.
Well,
And
the people that manage the Finger Lakes Trail Conference have a lot of data that they could present, to make it, try to convince people it's a good thing for them as well as for everybody else.
Well, is there a trail right now that runs along the river?
No.
Okay. Well, this would have to, I think, come from a higher level than Preble, but we could be a component of it. We could be part of it. If the county wants to pursue something like this and they ask Preble, do we want to be involved too? We can certainly, join in and do what we can for it. I don't know if Preble really has the clout to say, unless we create a trail just in our town,
Well, it's in a town in Highland Forest. That's here already. And, I'm sure people would be amenable to extending that. The state would most likely go along with it. They've opened up all of the state forests to those kinds of trails, and they restrict them to foot traffic. They don't. On
Right.
those particular trails, there's no snowmobiles,
Right.
no bicycles,
Right.
because they make ruts and
Right.
taking them past.
Yeah. Hikers are pretty easy on the earth. They don't create damage or anything. Is this something you would like to pursue over time?
Well, maybe when I retire.
Okay. All right.
Right now, I don't have time to do anything.
All right. Because in the future, if you do want to pursue this, we can keep talking about this.
You don't have to waste meeting time.
No, it's a short meeting. We have time tonight, but we can pursue it, and but we need somebody to kind of spearhead the project.
Yes.
You've heard that before, I'm sure.
Well, I did talk to some of the much better speakers than I am if they were willing to present things, and they said, yeah, they would. So if we had something concrete, they would come with some.
You could always invite one of those speakers to come to a board
Yes.
meeting and show us
They'd be
what
willing to do
they've got,
it. Yes.
and show us some maps and show us some possibilities of what exactly they want us to do, what we like, what they propose. And, we can try to, we think it's a good idea. We can include that.
All right. I'll keep in touch with
Okay.
on my end, and I'll keep bugging you.
Okay.
That's okay.
Sounds good.
Hiking is good. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Anything? Okay. Need a motion to pay the general fund vouchers?
I'll make a motion to pay the general fund vouchers abstract number 6, numbers 118 to 158, totaling $23,840.72.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Need a motion to pay the highway fund vouchers?
Make a motion, pay highway fund vouchers, abstracts number 6, numbers 39 to 49, totaling $8,705.14.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Need a motion to adjourn?
Move we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Excellent. Well, I thought that was second. I'm trying to